What's good, car family? Happy Monday. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope well. It's been a minute since I made a video, and I got a lot of pickups, but I'm not going to show them tonight. Got a lot of Emmett counter stuff, Dak counter, a lot of Cowboys. So try to make a couple videos this week and finally get those posted. But tonight, I wanted to talk about one of NC State's finest, Russell Wilson, and why I don't PC Russell Wilson. I don't know if I've ever told this story before. So long story short, Russell Wilson, from my perspective, is one of the best, if not the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen ever, and in particular at NC State. When Wilson was here at NC State, I love the dude. They weren't the winningest team at the time. They were in his last season here. I think we made a bowl game, but he was just dynamic. Like I said, one of the best I've ever seen. He could do things as a quarterback I'd never seen any quarterback do. So I loved him. Definitely was more of a fan of his than Phillip Rivers than I ever was of Phillip Rivers. I just loved the way he played. I loved his attitude. I loved who he was as a person, and I was super excited to see him, get drafted by Seattle, become successful in the NFL. And eventually, even win a Super Bowl in the NFL. What turned me off to Russell Wilson? There's the reason that Russell Wilson ended up going to Wisconsin and did not play a senior at NC State is because Wilson wanted to play baseball. The story goes, State was getting ready for spring practice. Wilson was busy spending his time with the Colorado Rockies, and he had a choice. You're going to play baseball or you're going to join your football team and play football. And Tom O'Brien told him, if you want to play baseball, don't worry about it. And O'Brien had waiting in the wings Mike Glennon, who was going to walk. And Glennon, I believe, was going into his junior season. So he was going to walk if he didn't start. So it's kind of like, I'm going to take the guy that's committed to play. And O'Brien took a lot of flack for that decision. I think from a football perspective, from a team perspective, it was the right decision. Of course, Russell went on to play as a graduate senior and, have a great year at Wisconsin, go to the Rose Bowl. And I didn't harbor any hard feelings for that. Good for him. It worked out for everyone involved. And that's exactly what Tom O'Brien said. I'm glad it worked out. It worked out for Russell. He went to a big name team and was able to, show his stuff on the center stage. My problem with Wilson is just that Tom O'Brien, who was not a beloved coach at NC State, he was not a man of very much personality. He was not a man of many words, but he never had anything negative to say about Russell Wilson, and he never really elaborated on the situation other than to say it worked out good for both parties. Wilson, on the other hand, he was speaking at Wisconsin graduation in 2016 and decided to just lay it all on the line and claim that he called O'Brien wanting to come play his senior season, and O'Brien told him he wasn't part of the team. He wasn't going to be on the team. He wasn't good enough to be in the NFL. And Wilson just framed it as this, I'm the little guy, and, they're holding me down. He made himself this larger, that, I'm going to overcome all these obstacles. I'm going to overcome Tom O'Brien, when the reality is Russell wanted to play baseball, and he had other things he wanted to do. And I always admired that Tom O'Brien never said anything negative about Russell. And then Russ decided to throw Tom O'Brien And I believe falsely, and a lot of Russell's former NC State teammates have said the same, throw Tom O'Brien under the bus. I had an issue with that, and I have ever since. Um, he went on to say some other things in that commencement speech that uh, he blew out of proportion, and this was about him playing baseball and some circumstances in baseball. He grossly exaggerated some situations, things that are statistically proven. If anybody ever wants me to show you, let me know, and I can show you what he did and said. And you know, he seems to, that's his thing. He frames himself as this this big underdog, and I get it. It's a good story. It's a cool story. It inspires people. But I never appreciated that he decided to do it at someone else's expense, and especially someone that had took the high road on Russ, somebody that had never said anything negative about him. Russell decided to do that, and at the other teams, at Wisconsin's commencement, no less. And they did reach out to Tom O'Brien for comment on Russell's comments, and all O'Brien said was good for him. And I think that sums it up, So I still do kind of pull for him sometimes. I do think he's a great quarterback, one of the best I've ever seen. But yeah, I don't PC him, and that's sort of why. But I did pick this card up. Thought that was a neat card. Russell in a baseball uniform, NC State baseball uniform. National Treasures 2015. That's 46 out of 99. And yeah, I'll add that to my NC State collection. And he'll always be a beloved Wolfpack, former for me. And a lot of State fans have bad blood for O'Brien because of this situation. But there's a pretty big faction of State fans that feel this way about Russell Wilson. And it's not because he left. It's because of how he handled it after he did. Appreciate y'all watching. Keep it real. I'm out.